Hey guys, it's Maymay and welcome back to part 2 of our fabric covered photo album, and I'm very excited to do this part. As you can see, we got the top done, we got the inside covered, and it's doing better. You know, I told you I wanted to tie it up overnight to kind of get it to hold its shape better, and now it is, because it was really wanting to stay open before, but we're good. So I want to work on the front first. I want to see how far I can get today in this video, but the front is what I want to do. And I really want to add a frame. And I went out to Pinterest and looked at some that had been done for years and years. And there's the classic oval frame, but I found one that was a square and then an oval on the inside, and that's what I wanted to do. So let me show you what I did. I took out a piece of the Spellbinders chipboard, and this piece I cut 5 by 7. I felt like that was a good size for the front. I want it to be pretty much the entire front. Like I want that to be that, right? Then I took one of my dies, and this is just a Dress My Craft oval die. See how it's got the stitching? That won't matter because I'm covering all that up, but this is the size I wanted in the middle. And I ran it through my die cut machine, but this chipboard is kind of thick, so I want to give you a tip, okay? When I ran it through, I went through and then back, so it basically cut this twice, and it left a really strong indentation. So when I flipped it over, I could just lay this on the back side and just cut through it twice like we do with chipboard in our regular trimmer. Now, you may have a die, or you may have a chipboard that'll just cut automatically for you, and if you do, just use that. But I just want to give you a little tip today in case you just had, you know, a wafer thin die, you could do that same thing. So that is going to be our frame. And look, now I have this chipboard piece I can use somewhere else. Okay, this guy needs to get covered with fabric, and I haven't done this in, I don't remember if I've ever actually done it. It's been a long time if I have. For some reason, I feel like there was a time when I worked at Piece Goods when I was much, much younger that we made fabric covered frames that stood in and of themselves, because I feel like I remember doing this process. Did you guys ever do that? Tell me in the comments below if you ever did that. All right, let me get some batting. So I'm not going to need very much batting, and I'm not going to double this one. I'm just going to layer this one on one layer. I think that'll be enough. I don't want it to be too puffy, you know. So I'm going to try to get exactly what I need here so I'm not wasting any of my batting. I'm enjoying this a lot, you guys. I feel like I may make several of these. They're great gifts. And think about this, like for my kids, they never really got these. So they'll be like, wow, this is cool. Or at least I hope they would be. So here's my batting piece, and I'm just going to stick it down to here. And I think what I might do is stick this with some sticky tape to hold it in place, because this might get a little fiddly. So I'm just going to put some sticky tape on just as a, I don't know, just like extra fingers, you know, to hold it still. And I'm not looking for perfection there. You can see I just kind of randomly stuck that around. So just going to stick that down in there just to hold that in place so I don't have to fidget with it too much. And now I'm going to trim out this excess that's hanging around the side. I feel like I have to have made one of these before because I'm having some like muscle memory kind of things happening where I'm remembering something that I did. And one of those things was on this piece in the middle, you don't cut it completely away. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to slice up to the frame opening. I'm going to change these scissors. These don't want to cut to the snip now that I'm in there. Let's go like this. There we go. So I'm going to slice up to my frame opening. So I'm just kind of feeling where that is. And this batting, I'm going to actually wrap around. I don't know why I remember doing that. I do think we did a craft day one time where we just made picture frames. That would be fun too. We might have to do that so you can see what I'm talking about. So I'm just kind of cutting this in a way that I can turn it around, and I'm going to take some of the bulk out. So let's just come through here and just cut some of this off because we don't need all of that. We just want to be able to turn it around with the fabric. And I'm going to do that fabric layer a lot like this, kind of the same. And I'll be more careful with the fabric because I have to make sure I have enough of it to turn under. With this, the fabric's going to bring it under, but I'm just going to do a little run here and just see how that's going. So this is going to tuck under. So by leaving that there, it's going to get us a little bit of, it's almost like foam tape. It's going to lift that off the surface a little bit. So we're going to leave that like that. I'm not worried about it here because I really want that to be pretty flush and pretty flat. So that's why I'm good with it being like that. All right, let's go to our fabric. Now, again, I don't know why I'm remembering this, but I feel like what I should do is glue this side down first, like do all the sides first, and then come back and deal with this middle. But I need to look at something here. I just realized this, and I think I'm okay with it. My stripes are going to go in different directions, and I actually think that might be good, because if it went in the same direction, it might blend in too much. I am going to trim this with Rick Rack too, because I think that'll be cute to mimic that. But so this is what we're going to do. We're going to turn this over, and I'm going to wrap this around as neat and as clean as I can. Try to keep my stripes pretty straight. I'm going to use one of those stripes to my advantage even. All right, so let's start with the corners again. I'm back to the hot glue. You certainly could use your Fabri-Tac here. It worked great. The hot glue's just a little quicker. The hot glue does build a little bulk, though. You do have to remember that. The Fabri-Tac is really flush, really flat, but this hot glue does build up some bulk. I'm trying to not let it this time. Do you see how I'm kind of scrubbing it on, kind of rubbing it in? That might be the better way to go. Okay, let's do this corner. So many of you in the comments of the part 1 video told me that you either have these or you remember making them, and that you love that I'm trying to bring this back, that it feels very nostalgic, and you want to try to make one of your own. I'm excited. I want to see them, you guys. If you're not familiar, on our website at MaymayMadeIt.com, we have a place where you can share your crafts, all of your crafting that you're doing, and I'd love to see what you're making, especially if you try one of these. So it's at MaymayMadeIt.com in our customer gallery. All right, now let's clean up these sides. I'm going to do the same thing I did on the album itself. Just going to apply some glue and pull those down. Okay, so that's wrapped around and glued down, and I only burned myself once. Not too bad, right? I'm going to get burned with hot glue. I always do. All right, so now we need to work on that middle section and turning it around. So let's do that real quick. I'm going to do that same thing. I'm going to make a little snip in the middle. I actually think I'm going to see if I can just get it started with my blade here. Yep, that went right through. So now my scissors will go in easy. Now, I'm not going to cut all the way to my frame. I want to come back and leave myself some room to flip under. So this time, I'm just going to be very mindful to go about 1/2 inch away from the frame. So that gets me started. Then I'm going to go through and I'm going to give myself more turn unders, like these little pieces that I'm doing here, than I did for the foam or for the batting. So I'm just giving myself a lot to work with. And this may not even be enough. I'm going to feel my way around. Yep, I'm going to have to go closer. Remember, I haven't done one of these in a really long time, like forever ago. So I want to not mess up. I've got so much work invested in turning this fabric around. I don't want to cut too far. I'd rather kind of feel around. All right, I've got a little more room to go, but that seems to be pulling to where I want it to. That seems to be doing pretty good. Let's see if this one will too. And let's see how close we are. That's pretty close. I think that's going to work, because I'm going to be pulling that kind of snug. Snip this a little more. You can get pretty close. You just don't want your snips to show. So what I'm going to do back here is start pulling these back. So let's start with some glue. Don't worry if any hang over. You just don't want to glue that part down. So watch what I mean. I'm going to pull this piece out and tuck it into that glue. As long as I'm not gluing to where I can't trim these away, I'm good. Now you do have to make sure you get your batting and your fabric in the glue. So right here, I need to come right past the batting. I'm going back to my bone folder to help so I don't get burned. Didn't quite get my fabric there. And I'm going to keep doing that all the way around, just working my way around, getting the batting and the fabric turned over. Now I'm just going through and cutting away these little points that I don't need. There we go. Now it's not perfect, but I think my Rick Rack is going to help me with that. I think it's going to help me make it even cuter. I'm also going to kind of run in here and see if I can kind of smooth it down a little bit, kind of flatten that batting into place. But I'm learning at the same time. You know, we're learning how to do all of these things together. So it's been a long time. All right, let's get the Rick Rack. I considered doing something with a little more body to it, but I really like how the Rick Rack looked on the album itself. And I just think it'll be super cute if we just do that same little zigzag, that little scallop going all the way around. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to go back to the Fabri-Tac for this one. It's easier to work with. Now I'm going to run it around the outside edge too. I think it'll be super cute there as well. Look how cute that is, the scallop. It really does look good. The backside looks like a mess, and that kind of bothers me. But on the front, you cannot see that, and all that's going to get covered up. One thing I do want to do, I remember this from when, um, I don't know if it was from when we made the photo frames or what. I remember kind of once you put a picture in here, it's kind of hard to get them out. So you might want to put something right here to make it smoother for it to slide in, because you can see how it's going to catch here. I think I'm just going to put a little piece of fabric over that. Like, I'm thinking I can clean this up if I just lay some fabric here to make it where the photo will slide in and out easier. And again, it doesn't have to be, I hate to say it, it doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't. It's not going to show from the other side. I just want this to be a little bit smoother right here, and I need to trim that a little bit as well. And you could cut a second piece of your cardboard or your chipboard and lay it on top and really clean that up. I think I have seen that done before, but this is what I'm going to do. That way, when you slide a picture in, it'll give you a better shot of getting that neat and clean. All right, now to put it onto your album, this is how I'm going to do it. You guys can correct me if I've really messed this up, but I remember this. What you do is you only glue it on 3 sides, and then we can add some cutesy, some little decorations and things like that. But what I'm going to do is add hot glue on 3 sides, just like if we were making like a folio. We just make kind of a pocket. I'm just going to make sure I don't have any spaces here so that it gets glued down even all the way around. And then we're going to kind of center this. Ooh, the shakes are happening today. There we go. And of course you could add lace trim behind this if you wanted to, or anything to kind of go with the theme that you're doing. I think I'm going to sit something on here and let this cool. I think it'll be pretty if I just tie a simple bow here at the bottom, just for simplicity. And then if I wanted to add a charm or something, I could. I don't have a wedding charm right now, one that I think I would like. I think I'm just going to do the bow for now. So I'm just going to do this little bunny-eared bow. I think I'm going to put it to the side like that. I think that'll be cute. I'm going to look for some little wedding bells. I think that'd be cute to hang underneath here. I can always do that after the fact. I'm going to fray check that ribbon. Okay, so I'm going to let that be the front of my album, and now I'm going to work on the inside, which I'm much more comfortable with because I understand paper. So let's put this guy aside and let's work on those pages. So this is what came in the album. These are the reinforcement tabs here, and that one's stuck to a page. There we go. There's one of our pages. So you can use these to reinforce your little tabs. And then let's look at all the pages we got. So we have 3 pages that open like this. That's pretty cool because now we can just think like folio or mini album. We don't have to think about fabric anymore. We got 3 pages that are pockets that have the little tabs. We got 3 pages that open down, and I might do some editing to this. I don't know that I love the open down. I almost would prefer, and this is one thing I may do, I may just flip it over and have it open up. I don't know. I feel better about that than the other way. And I may even do some different editing to that, but you can do those in either direction. And then we have blank pages, which are going to be super easy to do, right? So what I want to do is run through and cover some things with paper. Let's get some cardstock in here and see how it feels. So I'm using the Marry Me paper pack, and I may have to have 2 paper packs for this project because it's a lot of pages. Or I can use this paper pack and some coordinating paper because I can use white or glitter or gold or craft. So there's lots of other things I could do. Even some dots and stripes would work with this. The first thing I want to do is go through and pull out all of my cut aparts because I have photo sleeves I want to add to this. It didn't come with photo sleeves, but I want to put some in there. And I like using little cut aparts in those places. Plus, if I want to do any kind of little flips or little lifts or things like that, these are always good for that. And there's some cute sizes in here. I'm going to go ahead and put the stickers aside. I don't need those right this second. And these are the scraps I had from earlier, so I want to keep those handy too because I like to use those where I can. All right, so let's start covering some pages. So I'm going to start with these tab pages. I think these are really pretty, and I have these scraps that I think I can make work down here on the bottom. We'll see if I can or not. Here's the thing, you might be like, what do we need tab pages in a wedding album for? So I was thinking about this too. I was like, is this kind of, silly? Is this not something that we need? But think about this. What if you made the tabs to be like, I don't know, maybe the bachelor party or the bachelorette party, then you have like the ceremony and then like the reception, and you could separate the photos like that or whatever layout you have. Maybe you do bridal shower, you know, ceremony, reception. That would be cute too. Lots of different ways you can use it. I'm kind of thinking about not decorating here. This is going to seem weird, I think, but I don't really want to deal with these holes. So what I'm thinking is, if I just kind of pretended that wasn't really there, you know what I'm saying? And I just decided on a measure. I want to use this across the whole board or across the whole book. So here's what I'm thinking. If I come in about 5/8 of an inch, that puts me at 5 3/4 for my page. And I kind of like that, okay? So I'm thinking I might do 5 3/4. Actually, no, I'm going to consider that this is 5 3/4 wide, and I'm going to take 1/4 of an inch off of that. So I'll do 5 1/2 here, and then I'm not going to tuck my page in the pocket. I save cardstock that way, and I'm going to do 5 inches here. So let me show you what that looks like. So you can see with this piece cut like this, it does mat in there. You see how I can get that matted, and I kind of leave this section open. I like that. And another thing I love about that is we'll save cardstock that way too, because if I try to do like 6 1/4, let's just say I was doing 6 1/4 here, that makes me not be able to get 2 pieces from one piece of 12 by 12, and this lets me do that. So I'm going to do that piece that size. So that also allows me to do the same thing here. I can come in from this side and only decorate to here. So this will be 5 1/2 by 2 3/4. So now we'll have this piece at the top, and then we can have this piece at the bottom, and everything's covered and everything looks neat and clean, and we're saving cardstock that way. All right, so I'm going to glue this down. I'm going to cover all 3 of these tab pages the same way. So you can see that I've covered my tab pages just like this. I've got my pockets covered on both sides. Aren't these pretty? I did have to dig into some of my other cardstock, and I'm going to show you. I went ahead, because this is kind of boring to watch, I went ahead and did all my covering, which took a while, and I'll tell you why. There's a lot of pages in this book, and these all come with the album. I haven't added any pages at this point, and I actually haven't covered them all yet either. Check this out. So all of these are covered. Can you tell? I actually just like the cut aparts, but can you tell where I've harvested some paper from other packs? This, I think both of these are from a Mente pack, but they kind of match, so I thought that was cool. And then some of these are from another Echo Park, or Echo Park pack. It's not Cartabella because of texture, but some of these are from another Echo Park wedding pack that also worked. So I just harvested some paper and used it where I could. Now these are those single sheets I just covered front and back, but where I didn't want to waste any cardstock, I'll show you what I did. So I had a lot of strips of cardstock left over, and here I made a pocket. So I glued down part here and did a 3-part glue there, just 3 sides, right? Back here, I did this. This is not a pocket. I just like this texture. The thing is, when you do this and then you add like a photo mat, it really adds some interest to the page, and I really like that. So this was super fun, and I did it a couple times. And then back here, I had these pieces that were just leftover pieces, and I thought, I'm going to put these here. I'll come back and add a photo mat, and they'll look super cool. So let's put these in the album. They're nowhere near ready to be in the album. I just want to show you how this is going to kind of look. When I say they're not ready to be in the album, there's a lot of decorating I want to do to them. So, and I told you I also want to add some plastic photo sleeves to this guy, just for some more interest. I don't actually know if it's all going to fit, because the more I add, the thicker these get. Let's see if we can get these in here. And I'm not putting them in any order, like how I will have them when it's finished, but I just want to see how it's going to feel. You know how we are. We like a little test run, right? I've got a lot of ideas. By the way, did you notice this isn't even all the pages? There's still the folded pages I haven't added. Look, I may not get any plastic sleeves in here, because look how thick that is already with those pages. Isn't that interesting how much thickness you get from just adding the cardstock? So the other pages I haven't added yet are these guys, and I've got some ideas for them, but I'm not sure how much room I'm going to have to add. We may just put in some photo spots here, do a little bit of decorating, and be done. And these I might use for something else, which will be fine, because these are perfectly usable for in a different project. but we will see. I'm going to call that part 2. That gets your frame done, your little bow put on the top. That gets all of our pages covered and ready to go for the decorating. And when we get back together again, I want to start putting on the pretties. I want to get to the fun part, right? So thanks for being with me for this part that we have to get done, but I'm ready for the fun part. All right, you guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave a comment below if you think you see one of these in your future, if you're going to be making one, or if you've made one in the past. I would love to know. Thanks so much for being here. Till next time. Bye now.